How the Gators dominated the NCAA. The 2024 to 2025 Florida Gators basketball team isn't just good, they are dominant. This team didn't just go through the motions, they tore through the NCAA landscape, leaving everyone in their wake wondering how such a transformation could happen so quickly. Under the watchful eye of head coach Todd Golden, the Florida Gators became the team no one wanted to face, the squad that earned every accolade, and the program that reminded everyone why Florida was still one of the most storied schools in NCAA basketball.
Go, blue up top, white baseline right away, let's go!
We want guys that are productive, and we want guys who want to be at Florida. And you look at our transfers, specifically our mid-major guards, as a great example is that there's not one specific way to build a really good team.
We made winning play after winning play down the stretch in the last 6 minutes, after about 34 minutes of it not looking like it was going to go our way.
Let's break down the incredible journey of the Gators this season and see just how they took the NCAA by storm.
Coming from mid-major, you had that chip on your shoulder. You was almost good.
It all started with a blueprint, a vision that Todd Golden had for the Gators. After taking over the program in 2022, Golden quickly set about transforming Florida into a team capable of contending for national championships once again. But this wasn't going to be a quick fix. This was going to take time, effort, and a mixture of the right recruits, solid transfers, and an unwavering commitment to improving in every facet of the game. By the time the 2024 to 2025 season rolled around, the fruits of Golden's labor were beginning to show, and we were all dying to see what would happen. It was all about the way this squad was constructed. The Gators were a team built for both offense and defense, a rare combination that was going to make them dangerous in every game they played. But before they could show what they were made of on the court, there were challenges and questions surrounding their roster, their strength of schedule, and whether their early success was just a fluke. These were the kinds of doubts that fueled Florida's fire. They were ready to prove everyone wrong, and they would. The Gators entered the 2024 to 2025 season with a chip on their shoulders. Sure, they had a promising roster, but they were still a program trying to reassert its dominance. With senior guards Walter Clayton Jr. and Will Richard leading the charge, as well as the presence of forward Alex Condon, who was poised for a breakout year, Florida had the talent to contend. The team's early schedule was tough, with road games against elite teams that would test their resolve, and they passed every test with flying colors. One of the defining features of this season was the Gators' ability to win on the road. They showed a level of poise and focus that belied their reputation as an up-and-coming program. Florida notched victories on the road against top-ranked teams like number 1 Auburn and number 7 Alabama, establishing themselves as a force to be reckoned with. And these weren't just lucky wins. Instead, they were dominant performances that proved Florida had arrived.
It's Richard, one-on-one with Ziegler, challenges him and lays it up and in.
Every time they stepped onto the court, they exuded the type of confidence that only comes from true belief in one another. Florida didn't just take the SEC by storm. They made a statement in the non-conference portion of their schedule. The Gators finished non-conference play with a perfect 13-0 record, their best start in years. This wasn't the result of an easy schedule. This was a team going out and proving they could beat anyone, anywhere, anytime. The 13-0 start was a blend of offensive firepower and defensive intensity. Walter Clayton Jr., who was the undisputed leader of this team, played like a man possessed. His ability to score from anywhere on the court made him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. He wasn't just a shooter either. Clayton Jr. could drive to the basket with ease, and his vision allowed him to set up his teammates for easy buckets. The Gators' offense was clicking on all cylinders, making them an offensive juggernaut that no one could slow down.
Clayton. Caravan fighting good inside. Clayton. He buries it. Or take the lead. They got a mismatch either way. Clayton.
But it wasn't just about scoring for Florida. Oh no, the defense was the bedrock of their success. Golden had instilled a strong, unwavering defensive mentality in his team that was as aggressive as it was disciplined. These guys weren't just students, they were also students of the game and were willing and eager to learn and grow. They weren't out there to stop the other team, they were out there to dominate. The combination of Condon's shot blocking prowess and Will Richard's ability to disrupt passing lanes made it nearly impossible impossible for teams to get into a rhythm. If you were playing the Gators, you were going to earn every single point. As the season continued, Florida's success translated to national recognition. By the time the new year arrived, the Gators had cracked the AP Top 10 for the first time in 7 years. It was a huge moment for a program that had been down for so long. Florida was back, and they were better than ever. The Gators continued to roll through the SEC with precision and determination. The conference, which is notoriously tough and packed with talent, seemed to bend under Florida's strength. The Gators notched huge wins in conference play, including an emotional victory over a top-ranked Kentucky team that had given them trouble in the past. The energy in the O-Dome, the Gators' home arena, was electric, and the team fed off of that energy.
What a pass. Williams up and in with the left hand.
As the wins kept piling up, so did the accolades. Walter Clayton Jr. was earning all SEC first-team honors, and Alex Condon's defensive dominance had him being considered for SEC Defensive Player of the Year. The Gators were no longer seen as a surprise team, but were instead a legitimate national title contender. By the time the SEC tournament rolled around, Florida had earned the respect of the entire college basketball world. The Gators entered the tournament as the number 2 seed, and they played like it. They blasted through their opponents with an intensity and precision that made it clear they were gunning for a national championship. Florida faced off against an Alabama team that had given them one of their few challenges of the season, but the Gators weren't intimidated.
Florida looking to get out and run. Condon, a slam, 5. Clayton with 10 points. Sears has the hot hand, missed the 3, tracking down the loop.
Big guys that Florida can bring into the game.
You saw Martin at the scorer's table. He'll come back in, but the guy that
They dominated the game from start to finish, with Clayton Jr. putting up one of his best performances of the season. His 30-point outing helped propel Florida to a resounding victory, solidifying their place as one of the best teams in the country. Beyond the shooting, they were cleaning up in other ways too. Florida's defense was suffocating in the tournament. Alabama couldn't get into their trademark rhythm, and that was a theme that carried through every game the Gators played. Their ability to stifle opponents and force turnovers became a calling card of this team. As the NCAA tournament began, the Gators were a team that everyone had their eyes on. A number 3rd seed in the tournament, they had earned the respect they so richly deserved. They entered the tournament on a high, but the path to the Final Four was never going to be easy. Still, Florida was undeterred. The Gators were a team of destiny, a squad that had proven time and time again that they could rise to the occasion. In the first few rounds, the Gators showed their complete dominance. Every team that faced them struggled to keep up. Florida's offensive attack was balanced, with Clayton Jr. continuing to play at a high level, but it was the defense that truly set them apart. Condon was a menace on the inside, while Will Richards' perimeter defense allowed the Gators to guard every position effectively. They didn't care who they were playing against. They were going to leave it all on the court and go non-stop from the very first possession to the last. Case in point, they weren't intimidated at all about playing against last year's champs, UConn.
Green action. Multiple bigs out there. Great versatility.
Look at that screen. 3 of 14 from three-point line.
The catch and a layup for to shoot.
I would work on Reed. Get it inside to him. The pull-up.
And when they finally had to face Dan Hurley and his team, they were able to push past them, securing a very loose but hugely important 77-75 win and earning their ticket to the Sweet 16. Again, it didn't matter who they were going toe-to-toe against. The Gators just were not scared.
A lot of sushi for him. Wow. Sushi with some champion.
The 2024 to 2025 Florida Gators are a team that took college basketball by storm. They aren't just another squad trying to make a name for themselves. They are a championship caliber team that proved they belonged among the elite. From their undefeated start to their domination in the SEC tournament and their strong run in the NCAA tournament, Florida showcased a level of basketball that made it clear they had returned to national prominence. As the dust settles on this remarkable season, it is now very apparent that this team is beyond special. They have the heart, the talent, and the coaching to be a force in college basketball for years to come. Todd Golden had laid the foundation for something bigger, and the Gators were ready to build on it. In the 2024 to 2025 season, the Florida Gators didn't just play basketball, they owned it, and the future of this program has never looked brighter.